Hi guys, my name is Brian. This is my first video with the start of my weight loss journey. At first I wasn't sure I wanted to do videos, but the more and more people kept telling me that I inspired them, made me hope that I might be able to reach a larger audience and let them know that they're not alone. At my biggest, I was 460 pounds. As you can see here, my weight was out of control. My feet were swelling until I looked like the Marshmallow Man, and I started to worry about other health issues, diabetes, heart conditions, COVID being that obese was a real threat. I caught it a few months later, but that's another story. But it all started with my wife and a simple decision that at the time I didn't know would change my life. April of 2021, my wife asked me to go to a wellness class in her gym, and I honestly thought it was going to be one of those boring classes where they tell you what you're doing wrong and what you should be doing, but not really giving any advice on how to cope with being addicted to food or anything really that would help me. Boy, was I wrong. The people laughed, shared stories, talked about their struggles and how they overcame those struggles. In short, they showed me that they had the same issues that I did and actually offered solutions and suggestions on how to overcome those issues. But most of all, they made me feel like I wasn't alone in my struggles. It was at that point that I decided to make a change in my life. I left the gym thinking, I'll come back and sign up later. I got out to my truck and it was like a switch flipped. I thought to myself, if you leave this parking lot, you're not coming back, and you know it. My wife was still inside. I texted her and she came out and brought me back in and got me signed up. She is a wonderful woman, and I'm sorry guys, there's no way I'm going to be able to hold my composure telling this story. She would go to her classes, then come and walk the treadmill while I rode a recumbent bike, which wasn't easy for me at first. That first day, I might have only lasted like 10 minutes. Then after a couple of days of 10 minutes a day on the bike, I was able to stay for 15. After a week or so, I was able to ride for 30. Now, I'm not talking about some excruciating pace or anything like that. Just enough to get my heart rate to about 125. My feet stopped swelling so much and I started to be able to breathe better. My thought process was this was hard, but it's producing results, and quickly. I joined the Weight Watchers app so that I could start monitoring my food intake. Throughout my time on the bike, this wonderful woman, Michelle, I'm absolutely certain you will see some of her in this video series. She honestly made me feel uncomfortable at first, giving me tips on how to get my heart rate where it needed to be, and just being an over-the-top personality. Once you see Michelle, you absolutely understand that. She made the suggestion to me about water aerobics. I thought, sure, why not? I like to swim. So I decided to go to that class. My wife just said, okay, we'll go. I started going to water aerobics twice a week and riding the bike another 2 days a week. I started losing weight and I was feeling better than I had in years. I'm not saying the workouts were easy, because they weren't, at least not for me. After a month or two I decided water aerobics weren't enough. I also started worrying about after summer was over. I had gained a momentum and I was determined not to lose it. I had been looking over the classes offered at my gym, Cajun Fitness, without telling my wife because I didn't want to upset her if I decided not to do any of them. I made the decision to join a class called Boot Camp. My wife looked at me like I was crazy, but all she said was okay. We went to the class and Michelle was so excited to see us, I almost walked back out the door. But by this point, I had already made the decision to leave my comfort zone behind. So I stayed. That was the hardest decision of my life, to stay. It would have been so much easier just to go home and be a couch potato. But I wasn't going to let myself do that anymore. I stayed. The workouts were hard. I had to take breaks. And I felt like I was alone in a room full of people. I didn't know what I was doing. I was so far outside of my comfort zone, I wasn't even in the same zip code. But I stayed. Michelle helped me modify the workouts to do something that I could, because I couldn't do all the workouts that everyone else was doing. I still have trouble with burpees. When the class was over, I decided that I was going to go back, because this was the change that I needed. And I did at the time. Water aerobics was Monday to Wednesday, and boot camp was Tuesdays and Thursdays. That is how I finished out the summer. And I got more comfortable, and the workouts are still hard, but I am getting stronger and better. End of summer meant end of water aerobics, and I kind of started to panic. I felt like I didn't know what I was going to do, and I didn't want to slip back into old habits. Everybody at the gym kept talking about launch week. Apparently, it's this time of year when new class routines come out, and nobody knows the moves and all that stuff except the trainers. My wife signed me up for every one that I could go to, and I was okay with that. I wanted to try them all because water aerobics was going away in a month or two. I think I tried every class they offered. Some was just no way. Some I was just like, no way I'm doing this again. But I like some others. So I made a game plan of what classes I was going to take after water aerobics was done. The weight was falling off faster than I ever thought possible. From April to November, I lost 70 pounds. I never stopped, even though it would have been easier to. Then the holidays rolled around, and I'll be honest. November and December, I ate like I was the old me before I started working out. The one major difference was my mindset. I kept going to the gym. I didn't lose too much weight in those 2 months because I was just eating like crazy. This brings us to January of 2022. Still going to the gym and no longer eating just everything in sight. I've lost another 5 or so pounds. I'm down to about 385 or so. And this is me now. I still have a long way to go, but I'll be documenting my struggles and victories here. I will also try and get some interviews from other people in the gym who have had struggles and want to share their stories. So hopefully you'll be hearing more from me. Thanks for hanging out and listening to my story so far. And remember, if I can do it, you can too.